this could be my favorite part of the day now. Move a little closer to the microphone. I want to hear everything you have to say. Kathy Schaal is back with us this year. It's Breakfast on the Farm. Breakfast is my favorite food of the day, and nobody, I don't care who you are, makes a better breakfast than me. I have secret omelet ingredients. I have everything. You name it, I can make it for breakfast. Nobody makes an omelet better than me. It's fluffy. I use heavy whipping cream in the eggs. It fluffs it up. It's just magnificent. But second best in the world is Breakfast on the Farm. What now? When did this start? Give us a little background on Breakfast on the Farm, and then we'll talk about the specifics of where it is this year.
It started about 10 years ago. A group of like-minded people got together and in Racine County, and they decided to start promoting agriculture in Wisconsin, educating the public on agriculture in Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, June is Dairy Month, and throughout the state, throughout the month of June, dairy is promoted through Breakfast on the Farm throughout the state. Kenosha County had their breakfast 2 weeks ago. Walworth County will have one. A lot of different counties throughout the state have it. And we have Breakfast on the Farm. Ours is always the fourth Saturday of June. And it's to come on out and see what agriculture is all about, see where your food comes from. Some years we have it on a dairy farm. We've also had it on a pumpkin farm, a grain farm, a beef farm, a sod farm. These are all different types of agriculture in the state of Wisconsin.
A fat farm. Remember fat farms? Kathy Schaal, your family has a farm. Is it you or just your family owns it?
Actually, 4 years ago, my husband and myself, we dissolved the partnership with our son, and now our son and his wife own the business, the dairy business, Schaal Dairy Farm, and are slowly buying the assets of the farm over the years, the cattle, the machinery, and down the road, the land.
Now, you surprised me. You said how many dairy farms are left in Wisconsin?
In Wisconsin, it's 676, I think.
But
in
Racine,
the Racine County, only 14.
It obviously was higher than that at one time.
Oh, well, look at how many empty barns you drive by when you go down the road.
Why is that?
Because it's hard to make a living. At one time, everybody had a little bit of a farm because that's how they raised their family. They had a couple of cows. They had some land that they could feed their family with, and it has gone the other way. It's a very hard way of life, and it's something you can't get into anymore unless it's family operated and passed down, or you have somebody who will mentor you and bring you in.
So you can't start a new one. It's difficult to start a new one.
Very difficult to start up on your own.
So I'd be like Green Acres if I tried to start one. It wouldn't.
It would be difficult. There are some people that are doing it, but it is very difficult.
Oh, man. You know, I told you before we went on the air, my wife says that our farm reports we run with Pam Yankee from between 5 and 6, and then at 6:30 and 7:30, says that's the most important information you guys have on that radio station because the world runs on food.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has to have food. And she said if there's ever a shortage of food, you think Black Friday sales of years ago where people grabbing items that are on sale or something, wait till there's a shortage of food, and you'll really see people grabbing. They'll do anything they can to get food, and the farmers supply it.
Yes.
So, now, how are we doing? We're making enough food, obviously, for this country and the world.
Mm-hmm.
We still make it. I mean, I see farms still being plowed
Yes.
around. But it's funny you mentioned that. There's a farm next to our church that's no longer a farm. It's all weeds now. But when I first started going to our church there on Spring Street, they were plowing the fields and harvesting stuff. Now it's not.
Yeah. There's less all the time because more farmland is being turned into residential areas or commercial businesses.
There's more money in it.
Yes, there's more money in it. And if they have nobody to take over the land after grandpa or dad passes away, then it's sold to the highest bidder because they want their money.
I didn't see a farm until I was an adult because I grew up there. There didn't have farms where I grew up. And when I moved to Atlanta, we were a big radio station. We had a farm show on the station. I went and said, I think it'd be nice to start a farm. And the engineer was laughing at me. A city boy like you going to start a farm? You got to be kidding me. And I think he's right. I wouldn't know where to begin.
Well, depending upon what type of farm you have, if it's a grain farm versus like a farm that has animals, sheep, hogs, dairy. You know, if you're with animals, you have to be part veterinarian. You have to know how to market your produce. You have to know an agronomy, your soil. You have to know, watch the weather. There are so many things you have to be competent in, a mechanic also, in order to make this function.
And you can't take a 2-week vacation because the animals have to eat.
That is correct. Cows like to be milked twice a day, 365 days of the year. And vacations are slim.
When I talked to the guy who owns Jungle Jim, who owns Jungle J rather, owns the Lake Geneva Safari, I said he closes for the season in October and they don't open until May. He said, but the animals still have to eat. They still need vet care. We may close down, but there's still got to be employees here to feed these animals, even though we're not open. So he's got to make all his money in the summer. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't, the animals don't eat. And, of course, they always eat. So let's talk about breakfast on the farm. I went last year for the first time. You had it at the county fairgrounds.
Correct.
Because I guess you were going to have it at your family farm. And we had a little sprinkle of water outside, and the ground was a little damp. So
no, we had a huge downpour at 5:30 in the morning, and the committee had to make a call. And it wasn't a happy thing, but the tents were all sagging, and a river of water was running through the dooryard, and the dry hayfield they were going to park in was now mud. And
but that's real farm life. We would have enjoyed it.
we wouldn't have got another hay crop off that field this year.
Yeah. So we have the county fairgrounds, which was nice. It was very nice, very well done. But this year, it's on a farm.
Yes.
I don't see any major rain in the forecast coming up, which is good. And tell us about where it's going to be this year.
This year, it's going to be hosted by Frost Farms, which is a dairy, forage, and grain farm in Waterford, Wisconsin. And the Frost Farm has been farming since 1836.
Whoa.
It's sixth generation.
Lincoln was a little pup at that time. Yeah.
Stuart and Spencer Frost are brothers, and they own and run the farm together.
And so this is going to be at their farm. Is it in a barn or is it outside? Where is this?
It will probably be out. The breakfast will be outside. They have a tent they set up, and then there will be children's activities, educational activities. There'll be they have a little bit of a farmer's market going on also there. Lots of things to see, do, and learn.
And the hours, or the date first is June 28th. That's a Saturday.
Correct.
7 to 11. Mm-hmm. And why don't you make it like 5 in the morning, like the real farms when people get up at 5 in the morning? That would be nice. Give us the menu.
Okay. We have scrambled eggs, plain, or we have them with ham, sausage, milk, ice cream, of course. It's dairy breakfast. There's tractors to see. They'll have machinery set out for people to look at, children's games, a petting zoo that the 4-H and FFA local students put on, live music, and just a lot of fun to come out to the country and see a real working dairy farm.
I love to watch the machines that make the scrambled eggs because they don't have a little chef with a little pan like you go to an expensive restaurant. He's making them. This is a huge thing, and it just keeps churning around in circles and making those scrambled eggs. They sprinkle the ham in there, and it's really good.
Yes, it is.
It's really
very good. We have a good breakfast.
Now it's $10 each. Now kids 5 and old, or children 5 years old and under are free.
Yes,
because they don't eat a lot.
No.
I did when I was 5 years old, but these kids don't today. $10 to get in. Now we were talking. I was using a story before we got on the air. If you went to Disneyland and got the Princess Breakfast, how much was that? What did I say? 900 and. Some odd dollars here. I got the story here somewhere. This was amazing. It was, here it is. Family of 5 had breakfast at Disneyland, and the bill was $937. And it was just basically a scrambled egg breakfast, but they had lobster rolls. That's probably kicked the price up. And for kids, it was just eggs, waffles, and macaroni and cheese. The bill was $937.65. Makes this breakfast look kind of cheap, doesn't it?
Yes, our breakfast is a much better deal. And it's going to be very tasty and, a lot of good things to eat.
And you don't have some big overgrown mouse bothering you while you're eating.
Nope, not at all.
That's good. Okay, so you grew up on a farm.
Yes.
So it's been a family farm all your life. Mm-hmm. And it was it in the same location all your life? So you're local yokel?
Yes. Yeah. You mean the Schaal Dairy Farm?
Yeah.
Schaal Dairy Farm started in 1848?
Whoa.
And so it's been passed down from father to son. And then when my father-in-law and mother-in-law purchased the farm, they purchased it from great Aunt Mabel. So it went from an aunt to a niece. It sort of still in the family line, just sort of jumped there.
And what do they do? What livestock?
We have a dairy farm.
A dairy farm. Okay.
On the Schaal Dairy Farm, we have dairy cows, and we're milking around 300 cows right now. Our son and our daughter-in-law are, and they're doing good. When you go to the Frost Farm, they're milking 650 cows right now.
But they have those machines they hook up.
Yes,
Just
yes,
sucks the life
automatic,
out of the
yep.
cows. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Automatic
Imagine-
machines.
Imagine the old days back when Aunt Mabel owned it. Remember, they had to milk each cow. That must have been all day.
Well, that's why they only milked about 10.
I mean, that had to be a major process to do that. Now they just hook it up and I don't know, the cows like it. I don't know.
Well, it relieves the pressure, and we have automatic takeoffs on our machines. So when they're done milking, they automatically come off, and the cow can go back and walk around, eat and drink.
Let's talk about you, because I'm a city boy. I grew up in a city. When you woke up in the morning, you had chores to do on the farm?
There were chores to do, but I ended up in the house. I didn't have to go outside much.
You had brothers?
I had an older sister, and my dad farmed with my uncle, and so I had some cousins, and my older sister, they helped outside more than I did.
You know, there was a farm on Long Island. Then it's not there anymore. This was the end of the farms. And Guido Foglia owned it. And I remember once or twice a year, he and his wife and kids hosted this big dinner for relatives, and we were allowed to come because my father was close friends with them. And we used to go into the fields. He said, go get some corn. And we used to pick the corn off the stalks and pick them in and bring them in, and we cleaned them up, and they roasted them, and it was pretty good. I enjoyed doing that. That's about as much farming as I ever went into. They didn't have animals. They just had fields. They plowed. But I remember running through these fields, and I couldn't have been, well, it was 1964. The Beatles had just come out. So I was 10 years old. I couldn't believe how high these things were and how you can get lost in these fields.
Oh, yes.
Because we're running through them now. It's just housing there now. They got rid of the farm. But, I mean, it was really fun doing that for a day. I couldn't imagine doing it every single day. But
Then it becomes work.
yeah, for a 10-year-old, it was fun doing it for one day. Because I remember we ran in the house. The Beatles were on the Ed Sullivan Show that night.
Oh.
So I remember I could pick the exact date that we were doing this. And everybody ran to the house to watch the Beatles. And we went back outside again and got more food. All right, so let me just quick review here. This is Breakfast on the Farm. It's been going on for about 10 years.
Yes.
And you choose a different farm every year. And this year, it's the Frost Farm. And I'm going to give you the address here, but you can get this. Could they go online to get this address?
You can go online. You can go on Facebook. You can go to Racine. It's RacineCoBreakfast.com.
Racine County COBreakfast.com. That's good. And the address is 32,000 Bridge Drive in Waterford. You said it's by Tishigan, though.
Yes, it's going out Waterford into Tishigan.
Quick review, in case you're just tuning in. Breakfast on the Farm, the Racine County Breakfast on the Farm, the annual event. June 28th, it's a Saturday, this Saturday, right? Yeah, serving 7 to 11 in the morning. Eggs, sausage, milk, ice cream. There's tractors to see, children's games, a petting zoo, and live music and more. Tickets are $10 each, 5 years old and under are, here's the address right here, are free. RacineCoBreakfast.com. It was right in front of my face. See? If I grew up on a farm, I would have known that. And this is the Frost Farm. How far in advance do they have to get ready for this?
Well, they usually a year in advance, we know who it's going to be. Okay. And then they can start thinking about it, planning ahead, because they have to make sure they have a field for the cars to park on. So you got to make sure that field that's going to be closest to the barn is not a cornfield right now that nobody can plant on. So it's planning ahead, thinking about what crop you're going to have there and all that type of thing.
Sounds like fun. I'm going to try to make it out again this year. I made it to last year. I'm going to try and make it out this year. See, I'm hungry now. And I thought when Kathy comes in, she's going to come in with like a big tin of scrambled eggs and sausage, just like, a sample case. But she didn't. She came in with some papers. No.
I came in ready to talk.
Well, that's good. And we're going to keep reminding people as we get closer to the weekend.
Thank you.
Because there are people tuning in and out. We will podcast this, and people will be able to hear it starting tonight or tomorrow morning. And they can, listen back and say, oh, Breakfast on the Farm. What was that? I missed that. I was sleeping late on Monday. I skipped work that day. So we're going to take care of this for you. And I hope to see you out there. And now you are running the show, or how does this work?
No, there's a committee that runs
Okay.
this. My job is just advertising.
Well, that's good. Thank you, Kathy.
Everybody has to have a job, and that's mine. But there are people that run it and make sure that the tents are ordered, the food's ordered. We have volunteers in place because it's run by volunteers that make the eggs, serve the food, do the tents, do the setup, do the cleanup, do the takedown. A lot of 4-H and FFA clubs are
Well,
involved.
that's good. Yeah.
So it's a lot of community activity.
Thanks much for coming in.
Thank you for
I
having
know
me.
it's a big schlep coming in at that hour of the morning, but I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Kathy Schaal from Breakfast on the Farm this Saturday at Frost Farms at 32,000 Bridge Drive in Waterford. Actually, it's in Michigan, but that Waterford is the mailing address.